Hi, I'm Karen Lopez, and today I'll be explaining my first grade math center. I named the center Add, which stands for Adding with Dominoes and Dice. I wanted to clarify that you might notice I did not include references or a citations page. That is because all of that center's ideas are my own. I came up with it based on items I already have at home. So I have a bag of marbles that can be used in manipulatives and dice, and then dominoes that are also included in the center. So first off, the math common core standard I use for first grade is add and subtract within 20, relate counting to addition and subtraction, for example by counting on 2 to add 2. Another standard is build on others' talk in conversations by responding to the comments of others through multiple exchanges. Students will be working together to determine whether their answer is correct. It is important that students understand that they have to work together, and in order for the center to run effectively, they have to participate and take turns. Another standard is apply properties of operation as strategies to add and subtract. This standard relates more to the advanced version of this center. And my center description. Students in the center will take turns rolling 2 dice. On their turn, a student will find a domino including both of their numbers rolled. For example, if the number 5 and 6 are rolled, the student will find a domino like the one above, as you can see here, 6 and 5. The student will add the dots in the domino to find the sum. The student could answer 5 plus 6 equals 11. The student can add using the domino and counting one by one. They can use the marbles as manipulatives. They can use the whiteboard to draw. It is up to them which strategy they use. If the group determines the student's answer is correct, the student can keep the domino. Each domino is equivalent to 1 point. If a domino representing 2 dice is already on another member's, the student can subtract and receive 2 points. So for example, let's say a student has this domino and I roll 6 and 5. I can subtract 6 minus 5 and say 1 to receive 2 points. A whiteboard will be used to keep track of points. Students will continue rolling dice and adding/subtracting until this teacher gives further instructions. The student with the most points at the end wins. I included a competitive aspect just to keep students engaged. It's not necessarily whoever has the most points is the smartest or they get a prize. It's just a little competitive fun. Some adaptations. Virtually, this can also be done. I included a random dice roller. For example, students can roll the dice, and right here I got 3 and 3. Then I included some little dots that students can move. Let's see if it works. Yeah, they can move them and represent the 2 numbers they diced virtually, and also include a domino like this. So I included 12 since that's the maximum they can get for a domino. And then individually, this center can also be used. Students can play until there are no more dominoes left, and excluding 0 since you can't dice. You can't roll a 0 on a 6-sided die. Lower level, if a student is at a lower level, the teacher can remove dominoes that include only the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, so they don't have to add or subtract using 5 or 6. These add-ins can be confusing for some students and they're not at their level yet. So removing the dice aspect allows the number 0 to be used. Like I said before, there's no 0 in the die, and it can be easier for students to understand the center. So included only one material instead of dice and dominoes can make it less complicated for students. So then instead of using both, they can just simply, okay, they grab a domino, and then the teacher would have removed from the domino set like numbers that include 6 and 6, 6 and 5, 6 and 4. If they only want to use 0, 1, 2, 3, they can use those add-ins or maybe include 4, and the student can add the top and the bottom to come up with the sum. For a higher level, if a student is at a higher level, we always want to push them to receive an even higher level and still learn. We don't want to say, okay, congrats, you're already at first grade. just have fun. No, we still want them to learn. We can make this harder and increase the difficulty by having them multiply instead of add. For first grade, this might not be realistic, but who knows, it can also be used. And then students can also use a force of 4 dice instead of only 2 to include adding 4 numbers instead of adding 2 numbers. And instead of one domino, 2 dominoes can be used to represent the 4 dice. So 1, 2, and then another domino, 1, 2. So overall, it would be a higher level of difficulty. And the materials used are the dice, at least 2. If we want to increase the level, we can even include 4 dice, a domino set, a whiteboard to keep track of the points, center instructions card, which I will explain in a minute, and manipulatives. It can be marbles, it can be tiles, it can be anything that the teacher has or the parent has. So this would be the instruction card that the students will read or have it be read to them. It's simplified than the description because we want to make it as straightforward and as easy as possible for students to understand. So I directed it to the students. So you will take turns rolling 2 dice. The order is up to you, but make sure every student participates. Write down each group member's name on the whiteboard. On your turn, roll 2 dice and find a domino that matches your numbers. Using the strategy you prefer, so like I said, they can use manipulatives, their fingers, up to them. Add the 2 numbers and tell your group members the answer for the sum. If your group members agree, you will keep the domino and add a tally on the whiteboard next to your name. If the domino you roll 2 dice is for another member's, you can subtract the 2 numbers and receive 2 points if you are correct. As I explained before with the 5 and the 6, you can subtract 6 minus 5 and get 2 points instead of 1. Continue rolling the dice, keeping the dominoes and tracking points until the teacher gives further instructions. I want students to understand that it's not just one round and then they just stand there waiting for instructions. No, they can keep rolling the dice, they can keep using the dominoes and participating until time is up. And then the skill importance. The ability to use manipulatives and model math is an important skill. As students learn higher level math, knowing how to add and subtract serves as a foundation, since it is incorporated in several subjects. Students will know if they are successful and have met the standard based on the points and group feedback. Even though students are working together, when they add or subtract, they answer on their own. Students can work together to determine whether their group member has the correct answer. Collaboration and communication are also essential skills that are used in the center. And the last, suggestion 4, is add a visual component and ask students how they see mathematics. Chapter 5, Rich Mathematical Tasks from the textbook, includes the importance of adding a visual component and asking students how they see mathematics. This suggestion is achieved in the center since students use the visuals of dice and dominoes to count. The strategy they use is up to them. For example, they can use their fingers or even the whiteboard and markers if necessary. So there are visuals that can help them add up to the number 20 or subtract. Overall, I think the center can be recreated by parents, teachers, and I like how the materials can be easily found and you can make adaptations if necessary. If you don't have dominoes, that's okay, just use dice. If you don't have dice, just use dominoes. If students don't know how to subtract yet, focus on addition, and if students don't know the add-ins of 5 and 6, you can remove those from the dominoes. If a student is absent, they're attending class remotely, you can use the random dice roller. It's easy to access. And overall, I think this center can be used for first graders and even upper grades.